Greetings, I am Tom Earl, and this is my year of adventure. I know you could be anywhere, so the fact that you are here today sharing your greatest gifts means the world to me. I hope you know that in this moment, you are valued, you are loved, and you are appreciated just as you are. Well, my friends, right now, I am a new father. If you're listening to this in the time it came out, my child, inshallah, has been born and has been here with us. And so that is what my time and attention, that's where it is. So I'm intentionally making sure to take paternity leave to spend time with my child, to bond, to support my wife, all of those awesome things, and to really just be immersed in this time and this moment. And so what's going to happen over these next couple weeks is I have a series of episodes planned for you that are going to be super exciting and special, that are going to allow me some time and an opportunity to take this paternity leave to be with my child. And so I was thinking at the beginning of this year, all right, so this is going to be my year of adventure. Well, I have this course called Manifest Your Adventure. And I had thought, you know what? Let me release this course for free. Normally it's a paid program that I offer. Let me release this for free in its entirety, really to coincide with this year of adventure. In case you're listening and thinking, you know what? I love this theme you have going, Tom, of adventure. I'd like to go on an adventure. That whole thing. If you're resonating with that, I wanted to give you tools that you could intentionally plan. What does adventure look like in your life this year? And so I thought, let me release that at the very beginning of the year. Let's just start the year of adventure with this course. And then as I really reflected upon it and planned the year, I thought, no, let's release this course at the start of paternity leave to give yourself that space. And so that's what we're going to do. Basically, Manifest Your Adventure is a 7-day program that I recorded with a group of really awesome people. And so I planned this 7-day workshop that I knew if people followed from start to finish, they would not only be able to envision what is the next adventure in their life, what is the next goals, what is that bold, big, bold, beyond the star dreams that they have, getting out of your own way, letting the fears melt away and the imposter syndrome, all those things. If we set that to the side, what is it you envision for your life? And once you envision that, what is a roadmap we can create both in the mindset and in the actual to get you there? And so I took a group of 4 people through that exact workshop, recorded it, and then I edited it into a 7-day program. And so what's going to happen here is over the next 7 episodes, I'm going to release each episode 1 episode at a time. So I suggest starting from the beginning right here on this day 1 and going through it. So I'm going to release it exactly as it is, without any edits, without anything like that. So there's always going to be a theme song at the beginning, and then at the end, you're going to hear the intro that I have and the intro I have at the end, so you can hear it in its entirety. If you want to access other courses, at the end of here, I'm going to have information on how you can access all of our courses. But I really encourage you to go through this program, to take notes if you can, to do whatever you can to really engage with it. I really put my heart and soul into this, and I know it'll be very powerful for you. So I'm going to get out of the way here in a second, but I hope that you will be keeping me and my family in your prayers and sending us blessings as we are embarking on this new adventure of being parents. All right, my friends, with that, I hope you enjoy day 1 of Manifest Your Adventure. Let's let the theme music drop. Here we go. Greetings, Tom Earl here. Welcome to Manifest Your Adventure. I am so excited to go on this journey together, and I want to thank you so much for choosing to take the time to go through this course. I know you could be anywhere, so the fact that you have decided to spend your time here at the Celebration Academy. It really means a lot to me. I know there's a lot of things that we can't ever get back, and one of those is our time. And so I want to let you know right from the beginning that I honor and I respect the time, the effort, the energy, the intentions that you are putting into this course. And it is my intention that I will not let you down. In fact, I look forward to along this pathway that we are about to walk together, that you will have many aha moments and transformational discoveries. And I'm super excited for it. One ritual we use to start every single class is that we do something that aligns our energy, our breath, and our intentions all as one. And so if you've ever done one of our courses before, you'll know this is nothing new, or if you've listened to one of my podcasts, but otherwise we have 7 days ahead for you to get into the groove of this ritual. So here's what we're going to do. In a second here, we're going to breathe in. And as we breathe in, I want you to think up, reach up, stretch up, point up, do anything you can that you think up. If you're driving, do not take your hands off the wheel. Okay, and when we breathe in, we're going to breathe in through our nose. And then when we breathe out through your mouth and give the breath out a voice where you go, ah, or ah, give it a voice and let out all of any potential tension you're holding in your shoulders or in your arms and your jaw, anywhere like that. Just let it out with that out breath. This is going to get us ready in a positive place to go through this journey. So here we go. On the count of 3, breathe in through your nose, reach, think, or stretch up. Here we go. Ready? Breathe in through your nose. 1, 2, 3, go. Stretch and release that tension. There you go. I want to make sure you're doing an audible exhalation. Here we go. Breathe in one more time through your nose. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. And release. Here's what I'd like for you to do. I want you to think of one intention you have for this first day 1 of Manifest Your Adventure. What is one intention you have? Could it be insight, truth, discovery, happiness, joy, abundance, realization, manifestation? Pick one word like that. I want you to pick it, and I want you to focus on it. And I want you to feel that intention as an emotion, either as excitement or joy or satisfaction. Feel it in your body. We're going to breathe in one more time, and I want you to, as you breathe in, feel that intention infuse throughout your body. Here we go. Think of your intention. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. And release. Yes, indeed, my friends. I am so excited for us to go on this 7-day journey. I'm a huge believer in the power of immersion. They say that who you surround yourself with, whether it's what you listen to or the people you hang out with, that we influence one another and that becomes who we are. And what I do when I want to learn something new is I immerse myself in it. I listen to it all the time, or I go to a conference where you're there all day and all night, or I do something where it's constantly around me. For instance, when you're learning a new language, oftentimes you might have had trouble learning a new language in high school or in grade school. I did, for instance, because doing a little bit of memorization here and practicing it in a class for an hour, that's not the most effective way to learn something, especially like a language. Whereas you may know somebody who learned a little bit and then they went and immersed themselves in the culture, in the country where that language was spoken. And next thing you know, you're speaking it like it's your first language. And so for us, what we want to do is use these 7 days to immerse ourselves in a manifestation and adventure mindset. What I'd like to recommend to you is that if you can, to listen to these 7 days in a row. Now, that might sound a little overwhelming for some folks, so don't worry. If you don't do it in 7 days, it's totally fine. Maybe you do it every other day, once a week. You could do that, but I would suggest trying to listen to it for 7 days in a row and then going back to the parts that you want to tap into a little more. Now, what I want to suggest to you is this is an audio program because I want to encourage that you do this while multitasking. Yes, you can, if you'd like, sit down and sit in peace with a pen and a pad and some markers and some pens. And as we go through the exercises, draw with us or create with us and give this your full attention. But for most of us, we don't have that kind of time to infuse an hour a day right away to personal development. And so what I want to suggest is that listen to this while you're driving to and from work, or listen to this while you're cleaning the house, or while you're getting ready in the morning. As soon as you wake up, push play, listen to it while you're showering, while you're putting on your clothes, brushing your teeth, then you hop in your car and you finish where you started off. Do it like that, because even for me, when I do courses, even if it's a video course, I just download the audio and I do it while multitasking. As you'll hear as we talk about rituals and practices for happiness throughout this course, one of the rituals and practices I have is that every morning I go for a walk. And while I'm on that walk, I'm listening to empowering audio, whether it's a YouTube lecture I downloaded, a TED Talk, or an audio course that I'm going through. And so that's what I'm strongly encouraging you to do. In fact, that's why this is an audio program, so that it almost encourages you by default to listen to this while multitasking like you would do a podcast or something like that. Now, there are going to be some parts during this workshop where we'll go through activities. For instance, you'll be drawing or you'll be writing a poem. Now, you might be saying, Tom, how am I supposed to do that while multitasking? And I say, don't worry. I thought ahead for you, my friends, because what we're going to do is you can continue to listen during that activity. And while other people are drawing or writing or doing the actual activity live, for you, you can continue driving or do whatever you were doing multitasking. And I'm going to walk you through a visualization exercise. So if I say I would like you to draw this or I'd like you to do a poem, what I'm going to do is walk you through an exercise where you can do it in your head so that you can continue driving while visualizing your answer. You can continue cleaning the house while thinking of what your answer is. So don't worry, even for the activities where it might seem like you need to stop and do something directly with this. In fact, you can continue multitasking. However, of course, it would be greatly helpful if you did eventually come back to this and actually do the drawing or actually do the poem. Because art as a processing tool is so powerful, and that it taps into our subconscious. And oftentimes, as we're drawing something, without even realizing it, we're able to express an idea or a concept that was within us that we didn't even realize was there until we did it in an artistic way. Now, for some folks, in fact, probably for the majority of us, you might be feeling a little overwhelmed or saying, I didn't know there was going to be art involved in this. Never mind turning this off. Now, if you're feeling these emotions of hesitancy or anxiety around creativity, you're not alone. Brené Brown, one of the leading experts in vulnerability and shame, she interviewed 13,000 people. Out of those 13,000 people, she found that 85% of those people experienced shame in a learning environment that changed the way they viewed themselves as learners for the rest of their lives. Now, what does this have to do with art? Out of those 85% of people, she found around 65% of them experienced that shame in a creative environment. What that tells us is that all of us, usually around 85 to 65% of us, experienced a time where we were doing something creative and someone told us that was wrong, or that's not the way you do it, or this is what art looks like, not this. And as we were expressing ourselves, as we were doing something that is one of the most vulnerable things you can do, which is to create something, it wasn't there before and now it's there because of you. And then someone was to say, that's not how you do it, that's wrong, you're stupid. As we're learning to express ourselves as children, that is the message we receive, and we bring that into adulthood. That's why 9 times out of 10, when I do activities with adults where I say, we're about to draw something, 9 out of 10 people immediately say, no, I don't do those kind of things. And so one community agreement we're going to establish right from the beginning is there is no wrong or right way to do art. Whether you draw something that looks like a picture that everybody would agree belongs in a museum, or you draw something that people might say that looks like nothing, it's just scribble scrabbles. To us here at the Celebration Academy, both drawings are absolutely amazing and are to be celebrated. The second thing around creativity is that we want to emphasize and put value in the process over the product. When we invite you to draw something or to write a poem during these workshops we're about to go through, it's not so you can have a finished product that you can then, rehearse the poems everywhere and people will clap and applaud and draw something that gets 1 million likes on Instagram. That's nice if you do that, but that's not what we're focusing on. We're using the poetry or the drawing or the expression as a tool. The process, what you discover by expressing yourself through this artistic tool, is what we are focusing on. And anyone with any skill level can find value in expressing themselves this way, no matter what your skill level is. So I want you to embrace the process, to trust the process, and most importantly, as we go through this more and more, to trust yourself. So those are the two things just wanted to cover. Is one, there's no wrong or right way to do art, and process over product oriented art. The second one is to multitask while you listen to this, my friends. The other surprise that we have for this workshop is that I was thinking of, how can I bring this experience to you in an experiential way? Because I can tell you a bunch of facts and statistics, and I can tell you what to think. But what is even more effective is if I provide a process through which you can arrive at your own conclusions and aha moments. Now, if I had you here in person, whether we were doing a coaching session or we were at a workshop, I could do that with my eyes closed, although I wouldn't do it with my eyes closed because I'd like to see you. But what I'm saying is that's one of my expertise. It's one of my passions. It's the thing that I think of every single day. How can I make experiential learning even more exciting, engaging, and effective? However, how do you do that through the medium of audio? How do I do that when I'm not next to you and I can't hear you answer my question and then I follow up with another one? Well, I was thinking on that over the course of a couple weeks, and it turned into a month, and many walks I took meditating and reflecting on it. Then the answer came to me. I know what I'll do. I'm going to bring together a group of people. I'll mic each and every one of them, and I'll walk them through the workshop that I had in mind for this 7-day audio program. And then you'll get to hear them go through it. You'll get to hear their responses. And if there are things that are unclear, if you have a question about something, chances are someone else in the group also has a question and will ask it. And you'll get to hear their clarification. The other part about that is I truly believe in the power of bringing diverse groups of people together to dialogue and truly get to know one another. And through this experience, by inviting people into the process that are more than just myself, we also get the value of that, of these diverse groups of people, all of us coming together. It's 4 of us all together and getting to express and share our thoughts together. And you therefore get a benefit and be a part of that. Of course, you already know that every single month, as part of your subscription to the Celebration Academy, we come together once a month for a live online workshop. So if there's any questions you have as we go throughout the way, of course, you can put them in the comments section below. You can message me on any of my social media at TomRealArtist, send me a snap, or you can email me, tom@tomreal.com. Those are all great ways to ask questions and to make points or ask for clarifications. But our live workshops every month, you can bring your questions and we can really work through it live together. So I'm so excited for you to go through these 7 days. However, you're going to go through them, maybe one day after another, or the overachievers might listen to 2 a day, or some folks might do it once a week. Whatever your routine is, I just encourage you to do it in a way where you are listening to and trusting your inner voice and your inner guidance system as you do so. So what we're going to do here is in a second, I'm going to get out of the way and we're going to step into day 1 of manifesting your adventure. And of course, as we sign off from the workshop, I will come back in and I'll say goodbye to you personally before we head in to the next day. So that'll be the process. Every day I'll come, I'll say hello. We'll do a much shorter intro than this one. This one's a little longer because we needed to do some housekeeping, some ground rules, some hellos, hey, how are you? Those kind of fun things. Then the workshop will go on. You'll get to hear from the 3 people who came together, 4 including me. You'll get to hear us as we go through the workshop. Any parts where the participants are then drawing or doing something, I will then speak to you one-on-one and provide a guidance audio for you. Then after that's over, I'll say goodbye. We'll wrap it up. I'll wave to you, and then we'll see you tomorrow. That'll be the process we'll do over these 7 days. Okay? I think that just about covers it. I appreciate your patience and your excitement. And so, drum roll, please. And here we go into day 1 of manifesting your adventure. Thanks, y'all, for being here so much. It really means a lot. What our intention for this series of workshops is to, whether it's the beginning of the year or just a part of your life where you want to refresh or create a powerful vision or a big dream for something that's to come next in your life. So some people might listen to this right at New Year's, right at that time, or at a birthday, or maybe they just left a job, or they just had a new baby, or something like that, where they want to just visualize something fresh. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So we're going to go through that workshop so people get a chance to, instead of just hearing me say things, they actually get to hear things as people go through it. Because I think that even more powerful than a lecture is a conversation, which all of us as, believers of dialogue believe. And so, and then at the same time, if something comes up, you're like, this is whack, I don't know about this, then people listening are probably thinking, this is whack, Tom. So we can all work through it together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Any questions or anything comes to mind that I could put at ease for you?
I feel very relaxed.
Okay.
I'm excited.
So what we'd like to do is just start by sharing with folks your name and a story of what brought you here to this moment. And this can be, if you're thinking of, maybe there's something in your life where when I said visualizing something that's about to come next, maybe you resonated with that. Maybe you thought of, if I was to put myself in that place, here's a story of what has brought me to this moment. Or if that doesn't resonate with you, it can be literally what brought you to this moment in this chair, in this exact moment of time. Either one, however you experience it. And who'd ever like to jump in first, feel free, but take your time.
So my name is Tasneem, and what has brought me to this moment? I think I just read somewhere that life begins at the moment you're uncomfortable or something like that. And I think especially in the last 4 years or so, I have been pushing the bar to really get outside of my invisible box, the invisible box in which I felt really safe and protected. And I was doing amazing in that invisible box, but it was still very contained and something felt missing. And so I have, what's brought me into this moment is my willingness to, first of all, recognize that box and then be like, okay, tippy toe outside of it. So it's been a lot of tippy toeing, but some leaps as well.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Can we snap it up for testing? Yeah. Who would like to go next? Rami and Adora are gesturing to each other.
Okay, my name is Rami, and I suppose, I feel like it's a tough question to answer, but I suppose what brings me to this moment right now is sort of this desire to leap into the next sort of chapter of my life. I feel like in the last maybe year or so, maybe 2 years, I've kind of felt a little like treading water, and I haven't seen a lot of forward movement. And not that there hasn't been, and not that seeds haven't been planting, and maybe there are roots growing, and I do feel that way, but I'm ready to start seeing the sprouts and I am just eager to kind of really sort of go on the journey that I always thought I would be going on. But I guess these last few years have been like training, but I'm ready to start, performing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Can we step it up for Rami? Yay!
My name's Adora, and I resonated a lot with what Tasneem's been saying and what Rami was saying about treading water and also planting seeds and also stepping outside the comfort zone. What has brought me to this moment is actually a brand new conversation I had a few hours ago, which hopefully during the workshop I will expand on. But yes, there's very much been this feeling of I've been doing lots of things and I've been moving ahead. There has been forward momentum, but it really hasn't been the harvest I've been expecting from my seeds. The harvest is still coming. There are some tentative shoots that have sprouted, but still it's not the actual thing. Whereas I think behind us is a little tomato bush that we planted a few weeks back. And we've been feasting on the little heirloom tomatoes the last few days. And it's just been such a revelation to have something come to fruition in my life. Just from an idea to actual putting it in food and just chewing on it. So I feel like it's set a precedent for things to come shortly.
That's awesome. Yay! And I like the anticipation you gave us of, ooh, what was the conversation?
It also really makes me want to taste a tomato.
I know.
If you're willing to cut one up in four or something.
We'll do that. We'll for during break, we'll reward everybody with
A quarter of a
yes, with a quarter.
Tiny tomato.
Well, I think all of us are going to resonate with each other because we're all speaking from the heart. So I appreciate that. For me, one thing I've been reflecting on is that I've bought into the belief that it always has to be hard. One of my favorite quotes that used to be my identity was from the Quran, with difficulty comes ease. It's like, it has to always be difficult and then easy. Different spiritual teachers I have been just suggesting that it doesn't always have to be hard, that it actually can go from easy to easy to easy if you let it. So I was reflecting upon that and really trying to ground myself in it. And I was thinking of right after I graduated from college, I just could not, for the life of me, read any more nonfiction. I just could no longer be like, I'm going to do more personal development. Instead, I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sleep as much as possible. And I'm going to read books that really bring enjoyment to my life. And I'm going to exercise. And I'm just going to focus on my health. And I got a job at a organic produce store. And I was a fruitarian at the time. So it was like amazing. Oh, I'm a fruitarian. And I get to work with only fruits and vegetables. This is amazing. And I just did that for about 6 months. And I was laying in bed and I thought, you know what? I should apply to be an AmeriCorps member anywhere in the country that has the longest growing season of watermelons. And so someone told me that's either South Florida or South Texas. So I went online and only applied for AmeriCorps jobs in Florida. That was on a Tuesday. By Friday, I got a call from this place called Community Tampa Bay that said their mission is to end discrimination through leadership development of high school students. That's literally what my degree and passion is. So they interviewed me and offered me the job on the phone, but said I had to decide by Monday. And it just so happened that Sunday was my birthday. I made the decision and got to tell all my family on my birthday, I'm going to Florida in 20 days and let them know by Monday. And that whole thing changed my life. Then I learned what I found: spoken word. I found facilitation, all these things that have brought us to this moment. And I literally found that through sleeping, eating good food, and reading good book. I didn't try to force it. I didn't stress. I didn't do any work. So that really, to me, is a story that brings me to this moment where I'm trying to visualize with ease. I'm trying to listen to what's ease rather than what's going to be super hard. So that's a story for me that I've been reflecting on.
That's resonating with me because even though I said 4 years ago is when I left my job and started on this conscious journey of invisible box and let me break through. But it's so true. Like every stage, everything that led up to this very minute has somehow contributed to who I am and where I'm at. And a lot of it was easy. A lot of it was loving. A lot of it was fun. A lot of it involved traveling and living in different countries. And yeah, it doesn't always have to be hard. Then why do we go for that? Because, yeah, I've bought into that as well. So,
I appreciate that.
yeah.
So we're about to go on an adventure. As I heard a lot of us say words like adventure and journey and stuff like that. But I just want to check in on maybe any resistance or any unease around workshops that are centered on visualization. And we're not going to do a vision board, but, vision boardy type things. Just want to see your thoughts, or maybe it's the other way, that you love the visualization stuff. Just want to see what everybody's kind of pulse is around workshops that are centered on naming and visualizing and, kind of creating a map rather than the nitty gritty of what to do.
I think for me, I didn't really have a strong opinion either way, especially the background I came from. It wasn't something that we did. It's only the last few years since I've been in the US that I've been vision boarding. Even though I'm sure there are people in UK and maybe even Nigeria that vision board, just not in my circles. But then when I met you, one of the first things you took me through was your vision board, this massive one that you'd done. And then you started showing me every aspect that you ticked off and that you'd made happen. And it really gave me a fresh perspective on vision boards. I make them now as well, but mine have been very, I think, just almost like a ideas swirling in my head exercise, free writing, equivalent of vision boarding, rather than focused targets like yours. And I haven't, to be fair, looked at them recently to see how many I've achieved, but I do think from just knowing you that there's something in that, for sure.
That's awesome. Thank you.
How affirming. I have unease around it. Mostly because I think what plagues me a lot is sort of like a fear of failure. And I have dreams. I have visions. I that's never been a challenge. It's just to actualize it in any way is so daunting that even to create some sort of like vision board, if we're physically talking about a physical vision board, I don't think I've done that in a very long time. And I've had other friends do it and their visions manifest. I've noticed that my visions manifest too eventually. It comes through patience, but I could be more proactive. I will just say that sometimes to be able to actually see like something, which I understand can be motivating, inspiring, I feel like there's a big fear of now I have to achieve that. And if I don't, I'm a big failure. I think fear of failure or even fear of success is a big thing that keeps me treading water.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Rami.
Thank you. Yeah.
Tasneem?
I don't know if it's the fear of failure for me, but the fear of like getting really specific and then being like, oh, what if I dream it, and then that's not what I want, or that's not what it is that I end up liking. So I think that part gets a little bit for me. It's easier to be vague than to be specific in that regard. And the other thing that comes up for me is I like visuals, and I like getting artsy or whatnot and going into that space, but I often don't go back to it. So really staying connected to my vision, I think is a challenge for me, like the vision board or the dream that I've written up or in whatever way. So I definitely don't check off. So then I don't know if it's like, I don't know the real power of it because I don't stay connected to it.
Well, thanks for sharing it. I appreciate how we have a spectrum of experiences with it, but also interconnecting feelings and stuff like that. I think for me, a really big part of doing things like this is the emotions that it gives us, because that's what I think is our fuel on this journey we take is emotions. And when you feel confident, when you feel excited, when you go to sleep, like, oh my God, I can't wait to go to bed and wake up and do this thing. When you feel that, it's kind of the gas that gives your whatever car energy on the road. So I think we're going to create things that are material. You know, you'll be able to see it and look at it, but I wouldn't worry so much about what it looks like or having to check back on it. Just really kind of pay attention to the feelings that come up, especially the ones of excitement and stuff like that. But I think towards what everybody was saying of, I don't look at it, is we can then, towards the end of these series of workshops, check in on what are some daily, weekly, and even monthly practices we can do around nurturing our vision. And it doesn't even have to be ever looking at this again. It can just be remembering that feeling you had when you did something during the workshop. So a couple community agreements or things to remember is that there's no wrong or right way to do art. So if you drew just a bunch of swirls and it looked like nothing and you were like, this is my vision of my future because it's this, this, and that, that's perfect. And I know there's a lot of anxiety around doing art because we even know statistically, Brene Brown, she interviewed 13,000 people, and I always mess up on the exact statistics, but she found that around 70% of them said that they experienced shame in a learning environment that changed the way they viewed themselves for the rest of their lives. Out of that 70%, around 60% said they experienced that shame in a creative environment. So that says that the majority of us have experienced some sort of, that's not the right art, or that's art where it looks like something and I can't really see it in yours, or some sort of time where we expressed ourselves or created something. Creativity being one of the most vulnerable things we can do because it wasn't there and now it is. We've experienced somebody in maybe a slight way or a very explicit way saying that's wrong. And so those things come up when we ask you to create, especially drawing where it's not one of your skills. So we're just going to let that go and see drawing or writing a poem or anything like that more as a tool than a skill that demonstrates something about who you are. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Sound good. So we have some markers here. Open them up. And what we'd like you to do is, if you want to draw it on your paper here or the paper here. And for the folks listening, or maybe you're driving your car, you're cleaning the house, and you're thinking, what? I didn't know I'd have to stop to draw something. We want you to draw it with your mind. And when you have a moment, go ahead and draw it out. But don't think that you have to stop this experience. You can draw it in your mind. Okay? So when we say draw or write something, you can do it in your mind. So no worries on that. Basically what we're going to have you do is, we are on the start of a grand adventure, but you're not really sure where you're going. You just know that in a second, it's about to begin. And the thing about it is, you have everything you need already with you. You don't have to go to the store and get anything. You don't have to Google anything like that. You don't need Waze so you can get through traffic. You don't need Google Maps so you don't have to cross over 17 lanes to get there to save 2 minutes. You already have all you need for this journey you're about to go on. And you might not really know what the journey is, but a part of you kind of has a clue. Kind of like, I don't know if anybody here celebrated Christmas, but for me, Christmas Eve was like, I don't know what I'm going to get, but I'm pretty sure Santa's going to get me at least these 4 things. So you kind of have that excitement, but you're not sure. It could be something totally different, but you know it's going to be amazing. So can you kind of feel that excitement? Or maybe it's the night before Eid where you just broke your last fast of 30 days and you're like, I know I'm going to eat breakfast. It's going to be a little weird to eat during the day, but I already know what I'm going to eat and it's going to be amazing. And I already got my outfit picked out. So whatever that is for you, that kind of excitement, I see everybody smiling. So I think you're feeling it. That excited anticipation of all that's going to go well. And I'm about to go on an adventure for my future. Draw yourself as a character in that. What do you look like as somebody about to go on an adventure? What do you have with you? What kind of practical things do you bring? What fun things do you bring to keep you entertained? What are some maybe people that you might connect with on the way, I want you to draw yourself right at the beginning of that adventure. Does anybody have any questions or need any clarifications of what we're about to do?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Ready to go. Adventure time.
Adventure time! Okay, and for the folks listening and participating and enjoying along at home or wherever you are out in the world, you can pause this and start drawing and expressing your vision or what you look like at the start of your grand adventure, and do your thing. And when you're ready, hit play and join us back here again. Or if you're driving or multitasking, saying, multitasking time, you told me to multitask, so here I am. Don't worry, what I'm going to do, either way, whether you want to follow along with my voice as you're drawing or as you're multitasking, I'm just going to invite you to reflect, to think in your mind. So ignore me if you'd like, or just visualize in your mind. So what do you look like on the start of this grand adventure? And I want you to be playful. I want you to suspend your disbelief, to take all the limitations of time and space and reality and put them in a Tupperware container and put it in the fridge. It'll be there, keeping it cool, ready for you if you ever want to bring those things back. But for now, we're going to set them to the side. So whatever your grand adventure could look like, whether it's you're going to go to Mars or you're going to explore new realities, and so on the start of your adventure, you have some sort of device on your eyes that lets you see multidimensional things. I want you to have absolute fun. Or if you want, you can combine, have some fun things, but within the fun, have reality things, an adventure that you really want to do in life. Maybe it's you're about to start a new business idea you have. What things would you have around you? What stuff do you already have within you that you want to represent on paper? Maybe through the clothes you're wearing, or the things you're holding in your hand, or the background behind you, or maybe a hat you're wearing, or what are some of the things you're going to bring with you on this adventure? Or maybe you're working on a new art project, whether you're a singer or an actor, and you're visualizing yourself already about to be on stage. And so you have all the things with you, maybe your microphone, or if you're a director, your take action thing. Whatever it is, what is that adventure that you were about to go on? And have fun with it. What are some of those first thoughts that come to your mind? Maybe some of the ones that you dismiss because they seem goofy or silly. Explore those. Take some time in them, because this is your opportunity. Sometimes the goofy ideas are what we need to get the juices flowing. So have fun with this. Keep thinking about it. What do you look like on the start of a grand adventure? What is around you? If you're thinking of this in your mind, how would you symbolize virtues you have, or characteristics, or values that are always with you on the start of an adventure? What about the people? There's a saying that our community is our resource. Our wealth is our community. What about your community? How would you visualize the community, or the individuals, or the relationships that are with you on the start of this adventure? Think of your last few things, because I see the folks around me are finishing up their drawings. Pause this if you need more time. Otherwise, let's come back to the workshop so we can hear what folks drew. Okay, I'm looking around. They all look absolutely amazing, and I'm excited to get to hear everybody's.
Yay!
Who would like to nominate someone to go first?
Me.
Who would you like to nominate?
Tom
Earl, okay. So mine is me smiling, where my eyes are smiley faces and my body's a big heart. Because this journey I'm about to go on with the whole thing I was talking about with ease is that I want it to be heart-centered and kind of go towards the smiley faces. So that's where my eyes are visualizing what's going to bring me smiley faces, and smiley face nose, smelling the love. I have a globe because I know it's going to take me around the world and it's going to connect me with friends and family. And I have ice skates on because I really don't have a lot of, at this age, maybe when I was younger, I thought, well, I got to be good at hockey so I can go to a good high school or be in the NHL. But for me now, I do hockey because it's fun. There's no end goal in mind. So when I try to think of what's something that's fun that I don't have a lot of emotional baggage around, I think of hockey. So I have hockey skates on and I'm going to go with the ease of skating. I have my phone because I know it's going to have something to do with me recording myself saying, greetings, I am Tom Earl. So it's going to have something to do with that, or a microphone for live events. And then this is the instrument that I use, which is the Ableton Push. So I know it's going to have something to do with music. So with just really these things, friends and family, traveling the globe, smiley faces and hearts, and a phone, microphone, and my instrument, and really cool blue hair, I know that I'm ready for whatever comes next.
Oh, I saw the blue hair and I thought, ooh, do we get the locks again? That might be exciting.
It'd be more a shout out to my high school days. My hockey helmet's all the insides blue from when I had blue dyed hair and I'd sweat it. So can we step it up for Tom?
For sure. Woo, woo.
Beautiful, Tom. Beautiful.
So I'll tag who goes next. We'll do it poetry style. Will you tag who goes next? I'm curious about Rami's. Yours looks so beautiful, and I love your handwriting. It's just...
Oh, thanks. I it's multi-metaphorical. This is a vision of a being on stage. It's me on a live stage. You see the colored lights? We got warm, we got cool, we got romantic. A little color theory for you. And but just in the sense that this is very much practically, this is theater, and I know theater is part of my future. Absolutely. However, from the under it is just meaning. Is I don't always need to be on the stage for this to be the reality. I can be making things happen that go on the stage, and that's fine. But then there could be other mediums. There could be other ways I'm living my life in which I'm feeling seen and able to perform my full self. And so this has to do with me being my most true self, which I often feel is which you can do through performance. It's very honest and sincere. And whether it's a live stage or an audience, I hope to always be performing my full self, and I hope to always be recognized and seen by others for doing that. So it says, hey friends, it's me, Rami.
Oh, yeah.
They're the friends.
Yay.
I
see myself. I'm right there.
Yeah.
The blue hair?
I love everything about your friends on that picture. Everything.
I love it.
Can we step it up for Rami?
Yay.
I nominate Tasneem.
Yay. So inspired by Tom, I drew a whole heart around the thing. But I don't know, when I think about going on a big adventure, the thing that comes up is just me smiling and I have curly hair. And I love the idea of the wind just going through my hair. So I try to create that sense. And then I just took a mountain with some greenery, a slide where, you're just free, wee, that type of a feeling where you're just in that adventure spirit where I just go with the flow instead of always thinking about the GPS directions. Yes. And I love fountains, water. Anytime I'm around water of any kind just makes me so happy and excited. So when I'm on an adventure, it has to involve water for me. So I drew a fountain and I wanted to make some footprints. And in the middle of it, I was like, wait, how do you make a footprint? So it looks really funny, but it's to kind of, again, suggest that movement, because as I'm on this adventure, I want to feel like I'm moving along. Internally, as well as see my footprint so I know where I'm going or how far I've come. So I'm excited about this adventure.
Yay!
I love it. I love the heart. It looks like a full moon to me. You know, those super moons, but it's a heart.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tasneem. Can we snap it up for Tasneem? Who would you like to nominate to go next?
Adora.
Yay!
Well,
Last but not least.
not in the least. I've got myself, and there's not much around me because I think that's what I love the most about this image. I already have everything I need. I'm dressed in something colorful, which always puts me in a good mood more than even the people who see it. And it's green and orange, which is not a combination I wear often, but is very much imaginable in my wardrobe of African print clothes. I've got my sunglasses because I expect to be outside, and I'm also wearing heels. Even though I'm dressed to be on set, where it's usually hard-toed shoes, it's my set. So I call the shots. If I want to walk around in heels, I'm walking around in heels. My hands have nothing but my sunglasses in them because, you know, I've got lots of pockets and I've got a bunch of assistants carrying everything else I need. So I'm just free to focus on the art, focus on my actors, focus on what's happening around me, which is why my sunglasses are off. I want to see everything and my eyes are big so I can see, and I'm just looking happy. My hair is almost at the length it is right now, so this is not in the too distant future, and I am on set and creating something awesome.
Yay!
Love it.
Can we step it up for Adora?
Yeah, go Adora.
Adora's like, hand me my fan.
No, Rami, you need to step here and fan me.
Fan me. My feet hurt.
What was this like creating this?
It was really fun imagining myself happy and just full of life, you know, and what are the elements that make me feel that way.
It was fun. Anyone else resonate with that it was fun?
Absolutely. It was freeing as well, just having no boundaries or no expectations of what it needs to feel like. You just go with your mood.
That's awesome.
It gave me that same sort of level of excitement that I get when you're like rehearsing a play. You know, like just drawing the colored lights made me imagine these lights and feel the lights, and I love that feeling.
That's awesome. Why was it fun or freeing, or why did it give you the feeling of something exciting, like about to do a performance? Why do you think this brought those pleasant feelings up?
There was no pressure.
There's no pressure.
Yeah.
And no consequences, good or bad. You just do this, get it done, and whatever you turn up is going to be applauded and affirmed.
Turn up for what? Why? I would say because it was familiar.
What do you mean?
This doesn't feel like an unattainable sort of vision. If anything, it's been attained many times. It just needs to continue.
That's awesome. What about sharing it? What was it like getting to share it then?
What you shared first, and I always like you sharing because it gives a wider scope for how things could be shared. And it was a little intimidating seeing how much you'd managed to encompass in your little bit of picture and how much of a vision and how wide it was. But then I remembered the environment I was in where there is no wrong way to do it. And so I just relaxed into how I've done mine.
That's awesome. It's interesting too, because for me, when I created mine, I had no idea what I was going to draw. I just drew the heart first. I was like, a heart. And then I was like, a big head. And then what? So I didn't know until I just went as I went. So it's interesting to hear you say how much you encapsulate. I'm like, really? Because one thing that I liked about mine is it's really simple. I realized I really only need 3 things: an instrument, a phone, a microphone, friends and family, and a big heart. It's like, oh, I really don't need as much as I thought I needed to go on this adventure. So I think that was an epiphany I had while creating this. What about for anybody else? What was it like getting to share your vision?
A little vulnerable for sure. Like, oh, will it sound cheesy? Or, you know, it's like, oh, it's just a smiley face, like that type of a thing. But it was also fun in the sense that, yeah, once I get over that hesitation, I just started. I like am smiling right now. So it was that type of a feeling of like, okay, I can be seen for who I am, and that's okay.
Awesome. Rami?
What was it like to share? It felt safe. I mean, because I'm familiar with the three of you. And so I felt fine. Now that I have shared, now I feel pressure.
What kind of pressure?
To just sort of own up, to live up to it.
Anybody else feel that?
Yeah. There's more accountability. Someone knows now.
In some ways, I feel like there's less in a way. Now I've shared, I feel as if at least I've spoken that which I want. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, no one can say I haven't been trying and thinking about it and visualizing it and not making the effort.
Why do you think it matters about other people? I'm hearing, I feel because of other people might think, or now other people know, or...
I mean, just to clarify, I think it's more about me.
Okay.
And less about other people.
Okay.
Like now that I've written this, now I better do it, or else, why did I do this? I'm just dreaming, or I'm just envisioning. It's not about for me. This isn't about other people. I think other people might think I'm already doing this, and that's fine. That's the lovely thing about social media, is that I think your life is perceived to be so exciting, and that's fine with me. It's really is the own pressure I feel like I'm putting on myself to constantly be sort of in this productive place.
I think for me, one thing that I sometimes feel wakes me up in the middle of the night is if I start to do something other than the ones that I've drawn. Because for most of my life, I've wanted to be a musician. It's been my vision since I was in 6th grade. And then maybe starting around my early 20s, I wanted to do something around facilitation. And when I start to do things that aren't those, I worry, then those people will say, see, that's too big of a dream to be a musician, that I'm proving them right. Or am I getting away from those things that I've always believed were my mission? So I think that's why for me, the thing to remember for me is that I drew my heart first, is to trust that maybe somewhere along this journey that I'm going on, like a lot of protagonists, you start thinking you're on a journey for this, and then you end up doing something completely different, but you're super happy. So I think that's for me, is that I started with the heart, and I just want to remember that that's what the journey is really going to be, like heart-centered and smiley-faced. And that maybe these things I will do because I like them, but maybe it won't have anything to do with that for a little bit. So I think that sometimes the pressure I put on myself is to force it. That, no, it has to be these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One thing, though, that I heard all of us say was the reason it felt great was because for a minute, even for those 3 minutes we drew, we put aside self-imposed pressure, society's what's right and what's wrong, and there was really no outcome. When you held it up, we weren't saying, well, let's critique this, and that. You just knew it was just fun. It didn't, and it was low risk. And so I think when we're looking to tap back into that emotional juice, is just remembering that space we allowed ourselves to just let it be, and to try to reconnect to that as we go forth. We were saying daily practices, that could be one, is just to visualize it again in that space you had where there's no wrong, there's no right, there's no expectation, there's no reward or punishment, just free expression of your vision. Sound good?
It does.
Awesome. Yes, indeed. It's Tom Earl here, back again, just me and you. We are leaving the workshop and our amazing friends who were there participating with us. So far today, what have we done? Well, we started with an intro. We welcomed you, gave some of the ground rules and housekeeping suggestions for how to participate in this. I hope that my vision of bringing a group of people together so you could participate with them via wherever you are in the world, I hope that you enjoyed that. If you could, just leave in the comments, let me know what you thought, or send us an email, tom@tomearl.com. What we did today as well is we visualized and we created, what do you look like at the beginning of this grand adventure you are about to partake on. As we said in the workshop, but just to reiterate, oftentimes when we're about to start something new or something just completed, a door closed and we're opening a new door, oftentimes we start from a place of lack. We think of all the things we don't have. We think of all the things we're going to need. We think of all those things that are out of our grasp. We think of all those things that if I had this, then I could do this. But rather what this exercise I had hoped would bring out, and so I'll say it more explicitly in this debrief we're having together right now, is that everything you need to get started is right there already within you. There is nothing else you need to get started on this grand adventure. Sure, you could be saying to me, Tom, well, I already know that I'm going to need to look up this thing and that thing and this thing and that thing. That's great. But the thing about it is looking those things up is starting the adventure. It is going forth into it. And we're talking about this on a deeper soul level, on a level that the characteristics you need, the perseverance you need, the emotional amazingness you need, the mental stamina, the core of your character, all of that stuff you have. So sure, might need some different skills or some connections, all those things, but the necessity, what you need to make those connections, to meet that person, to get those resources, what I'm saying is you have the resourcefulness. You have everything you need to see that through. And so we just want to do in a fun way, start to name some things within you that have been swirling around in your mind, but to get them on the paper or to visualize them more clearly of what do you look like on the beginning, at the start of this amazing adventure that you're about to go on and expressing what your dreams are. What we're going to do on this next day as we come back tomorrow is to name, okay, you're at the start of an adventure. This is what you look like, amazing and ready. What is that adventure? So I hope you've had an amazing day one with us, and I look forward to having you join us tomorrow. And as we're signing off here, I want to remind you that every day to create something, to live with gratitude, and to express your dreams. My friends, as always, I'm wishing you peace and blessings. See you tomorrow. Hey, Tom Earl here again. Just want to thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Celebration. Your support, your energy means the world to me. Hey, if you have 2 seconds, I would be honored if you were to go over to wherever you're listening to your podcast and review this podcast. 5 stars, 1 million stars, somewhere between that range would be very much appreciated. You're the absolute best. I love you. And if you're interested in more courses that I have to offer, just head to tomearl.com/courses and you can sign up for 30 days free to our online school. You're the best, my friends. Looking forward to you joining us next week. All right. Peace and blessings. One more thing. I'd love to continue the conversation. Feel free to join me at tomearl.com/join. Subscribe below, or let's connect on social media. Tom Earl Artist. Thanks again for watching.